1045 The Team, 1045theteam.com. Brady and Gaz in for Levac today. Big man still on a beach somewhere in Disney. He'll be back for the debut of the Levac and Wolf show on Friday. We are on the phone with Sweeny Murti. He's the voice of the Yankees pregame show, postgame show. It is your home for Yankees baseball. Sweeny, the breaking news today out of Yankees camp. We ask you first, what is up with Andrew Miller? How bad could it be?
Well, right now they think it's just a bruise. They're going to wait to see after he gets x-rays and CT scan if there's a break in there. If there's any good news out of it is that it was his right hand that got hit by the comebacker, not his left. And I've already had people say, well, if it's broken, it's broken, right? I said, yeah, but at least he can keep throwing with his left hand and still be able to keep up. And hopefully the rehab process isn't that long. But getting ahead of ourselves right now, they hope it's just a bruise, and we'll know more either later today or tomorrow.
If Andrew Miller is out for some significant time, what pitchers would step up in his absence?
Well, it's not Aroldis Chapman.
Right.
We know that he's already been suspended for the first month of the season. So, listen, it would mean Dellin Betances becomes the closer, and it would push other guys up into roles. Right now, you still have two open bullpen spots right now. Jason Shreve has had a terrific spring. He hasn't a lot of hit. He's faced 28 batters. He's retired 27 of them, and one reached on an error. He's basically thrown an entire no-hitter during the course of spring training. He'll move up into a more prominent role if Miller's at it for any length of time here. And they've got some other decisions to make with two more open spots. I would tell you Brian Mitchell would fill an important role for them, but he got hurt today too. He suffered with right now they're calling a sprained toe. I don't think it's that bad, but again, wait to see tomorrow how it feels and see how the tests come back.
Sweeny Murti, pre- and post-game show host of the New York Yankees here on your home for Yankees baseball, 1045 The Team. Brady and Gaz in for Levac. Also notable today out of spring training, Ivan Nova throws very, very well over 6 innings. Does he have any chance of supplanting CC Sabathia for that fifth starter spot?
If he had 2 or 3 more starts like the one he had today, I'd say yes, but I still think that this is Sabathia's spot, at least for a little while here. CC pitched pretty well his last 2 times out, and really more than that, they're going based off of what they saw in September when he had a new knee brace, and he pitched pretty well. The knee was stable, and he seemed to have a little bit more life in September. So I think they're going based off of that. And the fact that he's made, in his career, I noted this today, in his career, major and minor leagues, he's made 505 appearances. Every single one of them is a start. The guy has a resume that we all know about, and I think that plus the last 2 starts he made in spring training will earn him a spot in the rotation to start the year. Now, that plus, $25 million salary, that alone won't keep him in the rotation all year. He's going to have to pitch well enough to stay there. But I think right now, they feel like, put it this way, I don't think Sabathia has anything to offer them out of the bullpen. I really don't. I think Nova would be disappointed. It would be frustrating, especially after the game he pitched today. But I think CC Sabathia's value to them is 0 out of the bullpen, which is why I think he'll get that rotation spot.
And despite his recent spring outing, do you still believe Masahiro Tanaka should be the opening day starter?
I think so. I think the last outing he had showed them enough. He seems to have come out of that feeling pretty good. We'll know more about that tomorrow. It's pretty odd. You're going to get to March 31st, and the Yankees still haven't named their opening day starter. But it's just really kind of waiting to see how Tanaka came back. He appeared to be pacing himself a little bit coming off the elbow surgery that he had, and on top of another elbow injury that we know he has. He had surgery for something else, removing a bone spur. But he seems to, they wanted to see him dial it up, quote unquote, yesterday. And I think they were pretty satisfied. I just want to see how he reacts to it. And I'd be surprised if it wasn't Tanaka starting opening day.
1045 The Team, 1045theteam.com. Brady and Gaz in for Levac on the phone. Sweeny Murti, host of the pre- and post-game show during the New York Yankees broadcast, which you can hear right here on 1045 The Team. Sweeny, Gaz and I have been going back and forth all week, all off-season on these following topics. Which Yankee needs to have a great year for this team to be successful? If you could pinpoint one guy that needs to have a great year, who would it be?
Jacoby Ellsbury. He is the guy that I think if you line up everybody on the team, all position players, and line them up all healthy and tell me, okay, which one is the best player? Jacoby Ellsbury is that guy because of his impact offensively and defensively. We saw a little bit of that. Even 2 years ago, he didn't have a great year, but he had a good year, and he played 149 games. And I think if you saw him play every day, you noticed really what the skills that he has and how they just show up every day. Last year, for the first 6 weeks of the season, you saw it up close. He was playing MVP caliber baseball until he got hurt in mid-May, and then it just never showed up again. Long DL stints, and then really nothing after he came back. I think he's the guy that, top of the order, center field, he is the guy that is going to have the biggest impact on what the Yankees can do offensively as a team.
How about the player overall that Yankee fans might feel the most worried about production-wise for the 2016 season?
I think you have to look at the fact that there are three guys who were the Yankees' best hitters last year were their three oldest players. Alex Rodriguez, Carlos Beltran, Mark Teixeira. Those three guys are another year older. I mean, everybody is, but you're talking about a baseball team and shaping up that roster, I think you have to wonder if they are going to be able to come up to that level of production again another year older. I would have the most confidence in Mark Teixeira producing similar numbers to last year, coming back off of the freak broken leg. He didn't show any signs of aging necessarily. I think the other two, A-Rod and Beltran, you saw some of that, and that's always a concern. Although I will tell you that Carlos Beltran was the Yankees' best hitter after May 1st last year, without a doubt. He had just a supreme finish to the season last year, but I don't know that you can count on that coming back. Just to go back, though, off of what I mentioned about Ellsbury being the best player, the most indispensable player, the player that you don't want to get hurt, might be Didi Gregorius because he played so well, and scouts I've talked to saw him in spring training say that this is the one guy they just can't replace because offensively he's not an out anymore, and defensively he is their best player.
Sweeny, Murti with us on 104.5 The Team, 104.5theteam.com. Sweeny, I liked what the Yankees did in the offseason for the most part, bringing in Chapman, bringing in Aaron Hicks. I really like those moves. The move I haven't really been able to get on board with is Starlin Castro. Defensive concerns, attitude concerns, new position. What's been your take on Castro through the spring? Am I wrong in that assessment?
He's hit very well in the spring, but it's easy to just throw away spring training numbers. But, most people I talk to think that, he's here with a purpose. He knows what his reputation became after last year in Chicago, and that, he's got a new start here. I mean, he can be the starting second baseman for the New York Yankees for a few years now, and that's really up to him. So I think that's a fresh look. I have no issues with the attitude he's brought into camp. I think the Yankees have something special when you consider their double play combination, both 26 years of age, and Gregorius is short and Castro at second. The Yankees haven't had a double play combination that young in 40 years. I mean, you have to go back to Willie Randolph and Bucky Dent to see two players at those positions, both that young. Young, athletic, up the middle. I mean, that's what the Yankees have. You're talking about some of these pitchers who are, if they're not going to be strikeout pitchers, they're going to be ground ball pitchers, especially in Sabatia's case. You want those turned into outs. And that's what shortstop and second base specifically have to be able to do for you.
Sweeny, let's get an overall prediction on the season. How do you think the 2016 New York Yankees will fare?
I don't love predictions, but I just look at, are they better than last year? They have the ability to win more games than they did last year, which is 87. I don't see it yet because of what I went back to a moment ago with the A-Rod, Teixeira, and Beltran. Your three best players are a year older, and they were the oldest players to begin with. Ellsbury has to prove that he can be there, healthy for 150 games or even at least 135 and show the type of production that he did in the first 6 weeks of last season. The starting pitching you have six starters vying for 5 spots. All 6 of them have question marks, and none of them tossed 107 innings last year. You've already got some injury issues with the bullpen or suspension in Chapman's case. They're a little more versatile with Castro and with Aaron Hicks, and that should help their vulnerability to left-handed pitching. But I'm not sold yet. I need to see them get off to a good start and see some of these guys produce seasons that are all-star caliber seasons that will get them off to a good start and put them in that upper threshold, that 88 to 92 win category, which they didn't reach a year ago.
Sweeny Murti hosted a pre- and post-game show on all Yankees broadcasts. Sweeny, we're getting pumped up for the season like I'm sure you are. Hey, rest up a little bit because you're going to have a long season ahead, and all starts Monday. We look forward to hearing you.
I'm glad you guys get to hear us every day up there. I look forward to everybody up there hearing us on Monday, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Sweeny Murti. There he goes.